everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. I'm the president, founder, and chief listening officer here at our network. Our show today is the United Kingdom News and Culture, and we are a smaller group today, but we are mighty, and there's so much news coming out of the United Kingdom. I can't wait to get going. So joining us are two of our incredible expert correspondents who, between the two of them, have so much expertise, knowledge, and experience. I am humbled to be sharing the screen with them. Let's welcome to the show Helena Chard. Hello.
Hi, so lovely to be here.
Nice to have you here. And also, Mr. Ian Pelham-Turner's in the house. Hello.
Good afternoon, young ladies. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, good day. Wow, I woke up today and there's always news coming out of the United Kingdom. And I'm so excited because I think I get to hear it straight from the two of you who are actually there living it. So tell us a little bit about what is going on. Who wants to start?
Oh, I'll start. I mean, we are in a very political time, as you can well imagine. It's all over the news, and it has been going on and on and on, I think for well, I'll say 6 weeks, because obviously we were waiting to hear who the new Prime Minister would be. And as I thought, Liz Truss has accepted Her Majesty the Queen's invitation to form a new government. So she is the new Prime Minister. She met Her Majesty at Balmoral in Scotland, and in the drawing room, which is a beautiful room, green carpet, and Her Majesty the Queen was wearing a lovely tartan skirt, and all the you know, all the usual happened. I mean, normally it wouldn't happen like this, but Liz travelled to Her Majesty the Queen, which obviously then makes us think that maybe she's been unwell, but she travelled to her at Balmoral rather than it being at the palace, and rightly so, to be quite honest. I think that's the right way forward. And I think what we can take from everything is, well, I love that she wants to make Britain into an aspiration nation. Now, I tell you what, she's got a hell of a job. That's what I say. She really, really has. But I'm just pleased. I mean, for me, I just think, gosh, I feel like we've wasted 6 weeks, really. You know, we have a lot going on, as I'm sure there is in lots of countries. But, you know, our economy, the NHS, the energy crisis, there's been so much going on. And I sort of feel this 6 weeks has been a bit like, come on, guys, let's get going. Because I just felt that Liz Truss was going to be the winner in a way over Rishi. But now it's time to move forward. But I think one of the things as well we can take from this as well is to celebrate the diversity of the cabinet. I mean, I'm thrilled in a way that Liz Truss is the winner, and she's the third woman Prime Minister. I don't know if I'm right in correct in saying I think Her Majesty the Queen has sort of welcomed 15 presidents. I'm not sure. I think that may be the case, but it's not just that. It's the whole cabinet is completely diverse, and I think that's you know, this is something that we're always we always want. We need diversity, and this is the way forward. So there we go. That's something to, I think that you always have to take the celebration there.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. We actually have DIANN FLOYD joining us. Hello.
Oh, hi. Technical difficulties.
Hi, DIANN.
Hi, DIANN. Sorry, I just saw your notes. So, Ian, what comments do you have about what Helena shared?
Well, first of all, we've now caught the American habit of spending money. And so now, basically, tomorrow it is reckoned we're going to spend £150 billion just to keep our energy prices down for 18 months. Well, that's 150 billion already. And I know that's nothing compared to, you know, what your president has been spending recently as well, but that will bring us up to 2.3 trillion in debt, which by my calculation is that it will see out my lifetime That's for certain. And I would think that we will just be coming out of that debt as Prince George becomes king in 2085. So we countries carry this huge debt now anyway. And so it's going to be an interesting time. I've got a frog in my throat something. It's going to be an interesting time, I think, for what happens in Britain. I certainly hope she can do things for Britain. The whole of the costs that are happening at the moment in relation to energy, to the cost of living, to the high rising of inflation as well. So we're in a situation where basically now I think everybody is going to have to keep calm in a situation like this, and then try and work through it. But a lot of people are worried at the moment of how they're going to heat their homes next winter. And I think the reality is that there's going to be a lot of duvets being sold and a lot of hot water bowls being sold as well in Great Britain in order to keep us warm, especially for old age pensioners like myself. Don't you feel sorry for me?
I feel sorry for everyone because you pay your taxes, you deserve to be warm, and because of politics, even on our side, it's affected what's happening to you guys, is my understanding with staying warm. So it's really pathetic.
I mean, we have heard that there's very good price tickets to your state. So we may always, the Yellow Rose of Texas comes to mind. You may find you get 68 million Brits.
I'll love it. Maybe you can teach us to pronounce English correctly.
You may find that starts happening in Texas. On every corner there'll be Brits.
But it does get cold here. I mean, not compared to y'all, but I'll just say if you can handle 65 degrees Fahrenheit, you'll be okay.
Woo, that's cold, Diane.
It's freezing, isn't it? I don't know what that is in Celsius.
Oh, sounds lovely. I'm just thinking about carrying on from what Ian said. So tomorrow we're supposed to hear what the energy price cap is going to be, and I think the energy price cap, as we believe, it's going to be on £2,500, which is a lot less than we thought things would escalate, which was sort of 4,000 plus. But I don't know whether small, medium enterprises, SMEs, are actually covered in that. Obviously, people are really worried about their businesses, and it's something that people don't realise, because we always hear about, oh, it's amazing how great these big corporations and businesses are doing, and aren't they making so much money, so much profit? But the small, medium businesses are like 90% of businesses of business. And we forget that. So we always hear about that 10%. But I think, all these small, medium businesses, they need as much help as possible. So I'm really hoping that the price cap also applies to them.
That's a good point. People do forget about the small businesses. My dad was a self-made man, and he'd be up a creek with his business. Of course, he's passed away and is in heaven, but it would have hurt him tremendously. So I'm really glad you brought that up. Thank you.
Yeah.
The only good thing for pensioners, as I say, I'm on a pension threshold this afternoon. The only good thing about pensioners is that we have a thing in Britain called the triple lock. So what the triple lock is that depending upon whether it's 2% or whether it's the state of inflation, so whatever inflation is in October, that's what we get in increase in our pensions the following April. So I'm hoping for 25%, just for 1 month. No, it won't be as bad as that, but it could be at least 12 to 14% increase that we will get next April for our state pensions as well at the moment. So it's one bit of good news for pensioners who dearly need, looking after in our old ages.
Mm-hmm. You're so old. I have this philosophy that OLD is not allowed to be stated because it's always a state of mind. So, Ian, in my mind, you're only 30.
Well, bless your heart. As I say, I would clean your glasses, but.
Well, I mentioned this before, but someone used the term seasoned citizen instead of senior. I really like that.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah.
It sounds like a beefsteak.
I know. Well, not to digress, but this month I'm 59 and a half.
Oh, you poor baby.
A mere nothing. Yeah.
A very fit person you are there.
But I'm really glad you, Ian, in all seriousness, that you brought that up, because I know my mama, she worked her heart out, and then there came a time that she lived on Social Security, and even though she had some stocks and so forth, she was counting every penny, and every time they would say, things are going up, and she'd be like, "Oh my, Diane, come over here." So what you said is really true. There are a lot of people that have to be very, very careful. And with the price of heating and food, I assume food's gone up in your country. People are very, very nervous, at least here anyway. And based on what you're saying, I'm thinking it's the same, right?
Absolutely. I think Helena will say as well that I think, the reality, it's not all doom and gloom. Quite honestly, I think, we are seeing some headway in how to deal with this. And hopefully, although I have a rather cynical view on our government right now, hopefully that they have got some common sense amongst them to actually try to deal with things like this, because it is, for myself, I'm not worried. I can, I live within my means. I try to live within my means, and in that way, I just enjoy life. I'm happy to enjoy life. I think it's very important just to enjoy each day and make each day as special as it can be. And days like this, I'm looking forward. I've been pacing up and down all day trying to work out what's going to be on my bookshelf, and
the bookshelf I'm looking at.
I know.
Like, is there any more room? Maybe
I
there's
like
a
that
little
fashion book. What's the fashion one? The one.
Well, I never actually worry about things, and then when I come on a show like this, I suddenly look at it, and and it's quite pronounced, isn't it? I've got high definition equipment on the camera, so it really does sort of show up, doesn't it? So fortunately,
it makes you look very intellectual.
Yes, very intellectual. And I'm wondering, is that a cologne?
What is the quote? You can fool some of the people all of the time.
but back to what you were saying, I always tell Dr. JACALYN, I wish our government would hire her to come teach listening skills. I don't know if your government needs some listening skills for each other and to listen to the people, but I think if they do, it'd be great for them to take Dr. JACALYN's workshops. And she didn't pay me to say that.
Thanks, Diane. I really love that about you. Thank you.
Listening is the key to moving forward, right?
Yes,
Carry on, sorry.
It really, really is. And, I think, it's this whole stop point scoring, everyone. Stop this nonsense. Let's all work together as a team. The only way you can change things for the better is to work together effectively. And yes, the listening skills, Dr. JACALYN, absolutely come into that 100%.
You know, that's a commercial. Work together as a team. Can we put that together and
Let's
send
do
that
it
out?
here. Work together as a team. Well, so much of politics is control, and even in relationships, people are struggling for control, and they stop listening because it's about being right. They just want to be right and have the last word.
Yeah. And I've been working with, I think she's been on one of your shows, Lean Clive. Does that ring a bell? Perhaps not, but she's Lebanese. She came out of Lebanon and was a beauty queen in Britain, and was a Miss Universe or Mrs. Universe UK winner. But she's also training to be a surgeon as well. And I've been working with her, and Helena will know a lot more about this charity called Mind. But there's a new campaign called, it's really, the idea behind it is to love yourself more. Where mental health, a lot of people now are not admiring what they've done and what they've achieved as well. So love yourself more. But Helena will know a lot more about Mind, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I do know about Mind, but I mean, obviously what you're expressing about Lean is a very different, it's her thing that she's working on, isn't it? She's got a new campaign coming out, as I understand. I've had a very quick conversation with her, but I've not worked with her. I think, Ian, you've probably spoken with her more, so I need to chat with her further to find out exactly what her end goal is. Otherwise, I don't really like to talk about things until I really know something inside out. So that's how I feel. So, yeah.
But the organisation, Mind, and and it's a mental health charity. And so I thought this was a Mind campaign, but as I say, I've been getting so many messages from people, I might have got that slightly confused. But the reality is that what she is saying then, and trying to get support for, is be kind to yourself. That's probably one of the biggest things. And obviously, Helen and I are creating the Kindness Trust at the moment, and a kindness campaign. So be kind to yourself is really the actual name, I think, of the campaign as well. And it's quite important, isn't it? Because sometimes you can, so many of my friends, I've been talking to some of my friends recently, and they've devoted their lives to perhaps their children or whatever. Their children have now grown up and flown the nest, and now they're wondering what to do with their lives afterwards. And a lot of the time, one of my best friends, we were talking yesterday, and really we discovered that she's been living under pressure for so long. She almost takes on pressure nowadays because that's how she knows she can live. And so be kind to yourself is actually changing her philosophy slightly when we were talking about it, where she has to break that cycle of stress and pressure that she's lived probably the best part of 40 or 50 years of her, 40 years of her life at least. And to break that pressure, break that cycle, and actually be kind to yourself and start really appreciating the things that you have done as well. Because so many people look back and they may have regrets about this, that, and the other. But in reality, if you're kind to yourself, value the things that you have done at the same time.
I absolutely agree. My thing as a parent is I always believe that there has to be a moment in time every day that you do something that's just you. And that way, as the children fly the coop, and maybe it's because I had 5 brothers and I saw some fly before, and that I knew that one day Mama was gonna, and Daddy, of course, needed to make sure they had things that kept them together. And so I kind of wanted to make sure I did that. So what I did is when the kids were like, mommy, blah, 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 it, and I called it the bewitching hour. And once I knew they had food in their tummy and they had their homework done and they just needed some time to just relax on their own, I had this sign and I would hang it up and I go, okay, I am not a mommy. I'm not a wife. I'm just Diane. And if you see that sign hanging up, this is my time for 30 minutes. And I'm going to take a nice bath with candles and music.
I love that, Diane. Good for you.
So, anyway, maybe somebody in your group will like that idea.
That's a great idea. And Helena, you love gardening, don't you? Because I think you find gardening very.
I love gardening. I love gardening. And just to say with reference to Lean, Mind is a huge charity over here that has a huge amount of education, help there for people that have mental health challenges, and that do a huge amount of doing with reference to raising monies and things. Lean is not attached to Mind. That's a very separate entity. And, you know, they've been working for years and years. And obviously we have World Mental Health Day coming up on the 10th of October. Well, Jenny's Day, as we know with Jeanette, on the 10th of October too. And there are all these special days to work with. So Lean's campaign is separate to that, but no doubt is worth, you know, worth $1 billion, because as we know, yes, we have self-care is so important. It's so important. And I think even more so for people that are carers or people that have lots of responsibilities and are racing around and don't have time for themselves, to take that time out, which could be just a coffee, you know, it could be just a bit of mindfulness, you know, reading a magazine. Yeah, for me, as you say, in gardening, I absolutely love, and that's my little passion. Yeah, I think everyone has to take time out. And I do spend a lot of my time speaking to my friends or people that I can see which is, and it's so important. Even just a breath of fresh air, you know, a little walk.
Sure is. I like to take my time and channel it into planks. So there's something wrong with me.
I'm so baffled at how amazing you are, Dr. JACALYN. I don't know how you can do. I mean, I actually didn't. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't really know what a plank was, and I looked it up and everything. I was just thinking, hang on, how can you do this?
Have you tried it, Helena?
Well, I am going to try it. I am going to try it. I have a friend that does planks, not quite as well as you, Dr. JACALYN, but no doubt, nevertheless, she does it. And I'm going to try and do it because it is amazing for strength and to keep fit, but also to keep a good plank, as you say. Like
exactly. Keep everything where it's supposed to be. And it's like a push-up.
It is, but how? I mean, so you do it regularly, I guess. So you're building your strength up all the time, because it sounds phenomenal what you do.
I only do those. I'm up to 17 plus minutes now. I only do that once a week. And I just started doing it not that long ago, but I have a very strong core. It's just, it has more around the waist than I need. I keep speaking to it, trying to be kind, saying, could you please leave? Could you go somewhere? But it's not listening to me. So I don't do them more than that kind of length of time once a week. I'm working my up to 20 minutes. And then after that, you won't see me posting anymore about it because I'll be done.
Huge. That's amazing. Anyway, congratulations. I mean, I'll let you know how I get on. I'll start with a minute myself.
You can start on your elbows, your forearms, or you could start in a push-up position. So
yeah, I'll go for it. I'll let you know.
Helena, I started on my forearms, and I said, if you even just do 10, seconds, and then go to 15, and just keep going. If you set yourself to 1 minute and then you don't make it, you might think, oh, I can't do this. But if you set it at something reasonable and just add on, you'll be fantastic.
Is 1 minute not reasonable?
It wasn't for me.
It's hard for
you might be strong. You might be a lot stronger than me. So it's all in your mind.
It's all in your mind. I want to stop after 2 minutes. I really do. And I say to myself, oh no, I've got to go another. And then I just start thinking of things. And by the time I'm finished, and I wear gloves, like weightlifting gloves, my wrists they're almost like frozen in place. I have to go like, just to get them to move. But it's
I had to start saying the rosary so that I wouldn't think about it.
it's good to have distraction. Put on some music or maybe watch something on your phone. Yeah. Yeah. Ian, no comments from you about the planking.
Sorry.
You know, it sounds all very interesting, very energetic, and you all look wonderful on it. Don't ask me to do anything as strenuous as I think the reality is it is, you know, I wish I could do more, and I think, you know, hopefully I may be moving shortly, and then you know, I can look at sort of doing more again as well. But you know, I walk most days, and I think that the reality is, yeah, I'd like to do more, but things like the plank, I think my poor old arms would give way in seconds if I tried to do something like that. And the biggest fear for me is I wouldn't be able to get back up again, you know.
You could actually start on your knees and go from there. But you know what?
Yeah, but don't forget that's where my problem is, because
that's right. Yep, that's right. That's not going to work.
Knees, so it's you know, you would hear screams of pain even in New York.
Oh, well, don't do it then, please. There's so many other things you can do. But, you know, it brings a thought up. What about the royal family? What type of fitness routine do any of them have? Do you know?
Do you know, okay, this is slightly deviating slightly, and this is something I've been wondering about. And I'm always interested to, there's Darren McGrady, he's a former royal chef, and he always lets little secrets out about favorite foods, and I hope you can hear me, favorite foods. But Princess Anne, I know in the mornings, I mean, she's incredibly fit, and we know that she does a huge amount of work each year. I think she's the hardest working royal, actually. And in the morning, she has a routine that she loves her big bowl of fruit, and that keeps her going. And she loves all fruits, but one of her favorites is overripe bananas. Now, to me, overripe bananas that are black and really out of date is like a horror story. But apparently there is something in it. I mean, I do know that they're easier to digest, and I think it's almost like an antioxidant powerhouse. But yeah, for me, black bananas is a no-go. I don't know how anyone feels. Who loves black bananas?
My husband. I can't stand them.
Do you know what? I have most days that they're not totally black, but that they are turning that way, and I've changed my eating regime slightly. So I try to have avocado pear most mornings now. I have my pint of tea with almond milk. And I have a banana as well, so I think it's you know, it's one of those things. But the one thing I was going to say as well is that the thing that has surprised me this week, really has surprised me this week, is that Liz Truss has had to go to Balmoral to become Prime Minister, because she has to present herself before the Queen. It's what's known as kissing of hands, you know, and then you know, she becomes Prime Minister. And everyone is saying it because it's the health problem with the Queen. Yet there's been reports that the Queen has been seen strolling out amongst the heather of Balmoral recently, you know, either with her stick or without her stick, and she's been going out for long walks. So I don't get where the mobility issue is at the moment, but Helena might have a view on that.
Well, for me, I mean, Liz Truss, obviously, yeah, traveling to Balmoral, I think absolutely, why not? I mean, she should travel to Her Majesty the Queen, I feel. I know it's not the norm, But hey, what matter? Who cares really? But I think Her Majesty the Queen. I think one of the things that's really people have been talking about, especially in that, there's a wonderful picture of Her Majesty the Queen with Liz Truss, obviously, and the kissing of the hands, and Her Majesty's in her tartan skirt. But the thing that's taken over everyone's chat at the moment is her right hand is very bruised. It's very, very bruised, but it's quite a dark bruise. But it could be that it could have just been, an injection or something, or taking of blood. It could have been anything. I think everyone. It's a topic of conversation that I think everyone's talking about. I mean, she is her age, isn't she? So she's going to have some ailments. And yes, as you say, she is walking around and taking little strolls, but she's allowed, I think, to sort of dictate to a degree, because I mean, I would be horrified. I mean, if she was my grandmother, or I wouldn't expect even my mother, who's a lot younger, to be racing around. And I think if you can, I think people should travel to her. So yeah, that's my feeling.
As an American outsider, I just want to say I concur.
Yes. Yeah, I just think
you're ganging up on me this afternoon.
Oh, sorry about that. But I also find it very interesting press-wise, and you guys can tell me if I'm an idiot or not, but everybody, at least on this side of the world that I see, so I shouldn't say everybody, but it seems to me they're always looking for the negativity, or like, oh my gosh, they're a certain age. When are they going to, they just need to kill over, or let's be the first ones to find out when they die, and you're sitting there thinking, I'm sorry. In my family, someone lived to 101, and my husband's family, they've lived to 104. And so I'm like, stop thinking like that, news people.
Oh, it does. That's the way it is. I mean, media always works like that. They're always wanting to find the negative, or any story, to be quite honest, whether it's true or not, just because it just keeps that conversation going. But, I just wish that everyone would just work together more,
I agree.
For the better, for the positive. Let's talk about all the lovely good news stories and all the fantastic people that are out there. I mean, that's the forward.
That's true. If I was going to be prime minister, I would say, I'll travel wherever you want, dear Queen. Just give me some of your wisdom to be able to do this job, which I think they do anyway. But I mean, I would just be in such awe, because her knowledge, I mean, what a way to learn straight from the Queen, don't you think?
I think so. I think the reality is, I mean, I think you said, Helena, I think it's 15 prime ministers now that she's seen. So it goes all the way back to Churchill, I think, was her first prime minister.
Right.
In 1952. So, I mean, she's seen a lot, and she has got a lot of wisdom in her as well. And I think, that over the time, she's probably seen so many things. And so, apparently the protocol is that she can only listen, but I would imagine that she gives sound advice, to new prime ministers as well over, the type of experiences that she's seen with them. And probably one of the hardest things to do is to put people at their ease. Because I remember even with Boris Johnson said later, he found it very nervous. He was very nervous meeting the Queen and talking about some of the affairs of state. And during this time, I think it's an hour a week, they can actually talk about affairs of the state. She can talk about things that are really on her mind as well, that are coming up. Because obviously, don't forget, even in Balmoral now, she's still answering letters. She still gets, mail every single day. Obviously, she doesn't physically answer it personally, only a few. But she's still getting a lot of questions as well, from people, from concerned people as well. Not only in the UK, but obviously right across the Commonwealth at the same time. So, she is still a very, very busy woman as well. And I think if I remember rightly, she devotes quite a lot of her morning to actually listening to the mail that's coming in.
That's impressive. Plus, she's still in mourning, I would think, too. So that's a lot to take in.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're back. So
Sorry, I had to drop off.
Don't tell me you were taking a comfort break.
No, I'm pillar to post today from 9 until 5, I think. So I just had to check on something downstairs. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, we just heard that the sterling plunges to the lowest rate against the dollar since 1985.
Oh.
So investors are swallowing like massive borrowing to tackle the energy crisis. But so I just thought I'd share it because it just whizzed in.
But what it means is it's very cheap for Americans to come to Britain.
You know, you guys are going to have to do a lot of commercials.
We need Alcini to create a commercial for you.
That's true. We need some
great. It's
Yeah.
so good. But actually, I was speaking to a friend, and she was talking since Liz Truss is obviously the new prime minister, but actually stocks and shares, or should I say her stocks and shares, have gone, they've gone up. So yeah, so she's doing really, really well. And it's because of that uncertainty. Oh my goodness, Boris, and there's no prime minister and everything. But the minute she's elected, it's changed. And she's doing really, really well with stocks and shares. And actually moving on to doing well, if you do have some free cash, and I know not everybody has, but and you are a royal fan, there is a chance to stay in Sandringham. Now, Sandringham is Her Majesty's property in Norfolk. Absolutely beautiful place. I personally love it. And it's a new thing that's happening, I think, from next year. And you can actually, so she's actually almost Airbnb-ing. Which I know sounds, I do need to do a little bit more research into this, but I'm pretty sure it is fact. But it's formerly the home of her head gardener. Now, I'm always interested in the gardening side. And people, as in anyone, can actually pay £354 sterling per night for a minimum of 3 nights. And that's as from February 2023. I'm just really excited. And I think, actually personally to me, to stay in such a wonderful place, with a place that's furnished from the royal collection. There's also a walled garden. How amazing to see the walled garden and all the beds. Really, really exciting. And you can stay there it'll be a short stay, but you can obviously stay longer than 3 nights. But apparently it's over 2 floors and it can home 8 guests. So that's February 2023. So if you want to stay there, I would get your socks on and quickly book, because it's booked up. I'm not too sure how much, but I just think how lovely, personally.
That's amazing, exciting. I think you have to give us the link, and then our whole team should go stay there, right?
I love it. I love that expression, get your socks on. I've never heard that. That's so cool.
I haven't either.
It has been rumored as well that when Charles becomes king, he wants to turn Buckingham Palace more into a stay place for other people, because he thinks it's too big these days and costs too much money as well to run as the center of royal activities. So who knows, in a few years' time, not too soon, hopefully, for the Queen, but in a few years' time, we could all be in staterooms at Buckingham Palace and lording it up and, inviting the Americans back, because by then, you'll be so wealthy. You'll be so wealthy, you'll be able to afford so much, in Britain, and you'd be very welcome, as you know.
Yes,
I'd like to go for sure.
That'd be awesome. But anyway, I have probably a dumb question. I know that I understand everything you said in the past about the Queen and what she's, I forget the proper word for making Charles and Camilla, but is there any way that they would go ahead and skip and go straight to Prince William for the youth? Anybody?
Helena, what do you think? Well, Helena, what do you think?
Do you know, it's a tricky one, because I know that Prince Charles really wants to be king. That's something he's always wanted, and will still, you know, he still really wants to do that. I know Camilla is incredibly supportive as well, and obviously Her Majesty the Queen has shown approval there, that she will be future Queen and will support him. I mean, the way, I mean, I'm open to that, and I love Prince Charles, actually, and I love for lots of things he stands for. I think he's quite misunderstood. But I think the younger people, and I think the younger generation are always, you know, sort of want to skip that generation. I mean, it's always the same when there's always this unrest with everything, and then everyone starts picking on each other, and everyone's trying to oust people and step on people and do better than everyone else. And I don't like that at all. I want things to be as they should be. I don't think Her Majesty the Queen will want any jump at all. But, you know, nothing would surprise me really if things did change. That's what I feel.
Thanks for sharing that. And I was reading, and it fits in with what you said, Helena, that Prince Charles is misunderstood, that he's actually done many, many, many things for the country, especially in you know, green energy and things like that. So is that, did I read correctly?
He is. He's absolutely spot on with that. You're right, and he works incredibly hard. He's always working to better situations, better people's living conditions, helping the younger generation, like with his charity, to believe in themselves. I mean, there's an awful lot of good that he does, but I think things, you know, I think, you know, the past always blackens. You know, it takes, for instance, it takes 2 seconds, as we know, for a company to go and fizzle into nothing. But it takes like hundreds of years to then build back up. And I think with the lovely late Princess Diana, all the shenanigans that happened there, and the negativity, and how he was embroiled and it was all his fault, that's always really tarred his standing. And more. And I think it's a shame when people actually learn the truth and learn the facts. And as we know, it's very hard to get fact out there, because you're lots of people that want to give their little whatever snippet of their thoughts, and then before you know it, you're in this fight again. And no, he's got a lot of good. He's done a lot of good, and he still does, you know. And he's got a lovely, strong, Camilla is a strong, very amiable person that's supporting him. And she's great, you know, she's really good fun, and she's very, very good for our country. And at the moment, we're so divided, you know, in so many things, that we need to just join together. You know, the love has to come back. And I know it resonated this the whole way through. We have to work as a team, all of us, just to better our world. It's so important. We can't stop this point scoring thing that keeps going on in any little, you know, in small fractions, big businesses. It's going on non-stop, and you know, we need to drop it. So we're hoping Liz Truss will take us forward. I'm not holding my breath, but that's what we know. We know that we need that to move forward.
Yeah. I think just to answer your question for me personally, I have to always be very careful with the answer, because I got into a real state of I was trending at one time. I've trended a few times in my life, and one time I was asked on an interview, would Charles become king? I wasn't expecting the question, and they were doing the countdown at the same time on this program. And what I meant to say was, I've known all my life that Charles wants to become king. What I said was, I know Charles will I've known Charles all my life, and of course he wants to become king. The inflection was slightly different. I thought, well, it's 6:15 in the morning, no one will notice. And I trended across the world with that comment. So I'm always very careful about what I say about it nowadays. I think the reality is, you're right. Charles does work extremely hard. I think he would probably be a very good king for my age group. And there's a difference, because in reality nowadays, lots of younger people in their 20s and their 30s may not be monarchists anymore. So it'll be interesting to see, how this whole thing transpires. And just a very quick story, just to show you how hard Charles works, is that he got involved in a thing called Spidergate. And basically, when Camilla goes to bed at night, he's still writing letters, handwriting letters to people of influence like cabinet ministers and like, trying to influence their decisions on a policy. But he writes like a spider, and there's this very sort of strange writing that he's got as well. And it became known as Spidergate, because really the future king should not be trying to influence policy of cabinet ministers. So he does work extremely hard, you're quite right. On ecological issues, he's probably one of the leading experts in the world on ecology.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing. I was just going to add from before that if I were Charles and I had thought that I'm going to be king one day, I don't think I'm going to pass that off. Hey, let somebody else have that job.
Not only that, I mean, there's something to be said about people who have lived and have chapters in their lives, and they've seen a lot. And so you have a broader perspective, and hopefully you are able to listen more and be a team. And I just think that comes with youth. I think when I think about my own life and some of the things I've done when I'm younger, I'm like, gosh, I really wish I would have realized blah, blah, blah. But I had to live it in order to realize it. Does that make sense at all?
Absolutely.
And strangely enough, it wouldn't be his decision anyway.
Oh, that's true. Oh, really?
No, it wouldn't be his decision anyway, because basically it's called the Law of Ascension, which is 1937 Law of Ascension. Which so it has to go in chronological order from the Queen to Charles and so forth down. So the Law of Ascension would have to be changed by the government in order for someone or for Charles to be skipped over for William to become king. So it's and as I say, I talk to people at the moment, and I think the reality is. We're starting to, in some ways, younger people. I think Helena's group, she's obviously very young herself still. Before I get a stern look from Helena, but from your age group, Helena, and for you guys. That there's still a lot of value in a royal family, is what I'm trying to say. But in 20-somethings now, there seems to be a lot less connection. There is some connection still, and Kate is trying very hard to build up the connections, with young women and so forth at the same time. But it's going to be interesting to see. As I say, I think we will pay off our public debt just as Prince George becomes King George in about 2085. So, not that I'll be around that time. Who knows? I might start haunting the palace.
Yes, we'll all still be broadcasting here from.
What are you talking about? I'm gonna be around.
Come on, Diane, let's go. Well, it's time for us to close out our show today. It's been so much fun, so informative. And Simon McDonald, we miss you, and you'll be back next week, hopefully. So thank you all for being here. Anything you want to say in closing? I'll start with Helena.
Oh, goodness. Do you know, we don't know how long we've got left, you know, on the world. So just grab life, really grab life. If there's anything you want to do, just do it. Really, we can sit, we can worry, we can, you know, all fall out, we can do various things, but we just have to, you know, do what we want to do, enjoy life. And for goodness sake, let's just work together. We don't want to be divided. We all want to work together to make life better.
I love it. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Diann?
Well, I agree with Helena completely. So I'm just going to go with her theme and put it out there to the universe as she did. Let's be a team and work together and bring blessings to the earth.
Amen to that, Diann. Thank you. And last word, Mr. Pelham Turner.
Last word. I think be kind to yourself is one of the things I've been talking about a lot this week. Give yourself the time and the devotion to live your life to the full. And do what I do is just try to enjoy every single day. Some days I relax, some days I'm working hard, but above all, I hope I'm bringing at least some understanding to the people who I work with.
Absolutely. Thank you to each and every one of you for all that you do. All right, we are going to sign off right now. Thank you, everyone, whether you're watching or listening. Our numbers continue to grow, and we do it because of you. So thank you for your loyalty. Please do go subscribe to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV and Radio. And if you'd like to be part of our platform, go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com. Book your session. All right, that's all the announcements I have for today. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.